Hey everyone, and welcome to The Explainer. I am so incredibly excited you're here with us today because we're about to take a dynamic, microscopic journey deep into the world of cellular biology. We're going to be zeroing in on a genuinely fascinating biological phenomenon known as active transport, which, as you're going to see, is quite literally the uphill battle of cells. Okay, let's dive into this. How do cells move things uphill against the current? I want you to imagine a cell that is completely surrounded by a harsh environment, a place where the nutrients it desperately needs to survive are just incredibly scarce. How on earth does it grab those scattered, crucial molecules and actually pull them inside, especially when literally all the natural physical forces of the universe are working completely against it? It's a massive biological dilemma, right? So that brings us to section 1, defying the concentration gradient, or going against the flow. Now, normally when we study cellular movement, we think about standard passive rules, things just naturally flowing from one place to another. But today, we're looking at what happens when a cell absolutely has to break those standard rules just to survive. And this brilliantly illustrates the exact difference we're talking about. On one side, we've got passive diffusion. This is movement from a high concentration to a low concentration. It's completely passive. It's kind of like riding a bicycle downhill, You just take your feet off the pedals and coast. But then, on the other side, we have active transport, moving from a low concentration to a high concentration. It is the exact opposite. This is the ultimate uphill battle, and it requires some seriously hard pedaling. All right, let's move right along to section 2, defining active transport. What is it exactly? Let's officially meet the hero of our microscopic story today and figure out what makes it tick. Here's the exact textbook mechanism at play. Active transport is the movement of particles through a cell membrane from a region of lower concentration to a region of higher concentration, using energy from respiration. So the crucial point is right there at the very end of that definition, using energy from respiration. This is not a free ride by any stretch of the imagination. No way. The cell has to work incredibly hard for this, continuously burning its own energy just to make this uphill movement happen. Which naturally leads us right into section 3, why cells need it, their cellular importance. Let's just zoom out from the strict mechanics for a quick second. Why go to all this effort? What are the high stakes here that justify burning this precious cellular energy every single second of the day? Well, active transport actually handles some fundamental life or death tasks. First off, it enables cells to maintain or even increase the concentration of vital substances inside the cell. Second, it allows them to operate efficiently even when the outside concentration of a necessary nutrient is extremely low. And finally, this is really cool, it serves as a critical defense mechanism, allowing the cell to literally pump out harmful molecules even when the outside concentration of those toxins is actually higher. These distinct functions prove that active transport acts as both an essential resource gatherer and a vital cellular protector. Now, all of this theory is super fascinating, but I promise to show you exactly how this microscopic uphill battle keeps humans and plants alive every single day. So let's jump into section 4, real-world examples, specifically focusing on the gut and plant roots. First up, we have the human gut, specifically the epithelial cells lining the villi of our small intestine. They have this massive job of taking up glucose against the concentration gradient. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is that this process represents a vital, ongoing rescue mission happening right now, literally at this moment, inside your digestive system. To actually pull off this rescue mission, these epithelial cells are uniquely built. They're densely packed with mitochondria. Why? Well, because mitochondria are the powerhouses that provide the required kinetic energy for this movement. Without this massive expenditure of energy for active transport, significant quantities of highly usable nutrients would just pass right through the gut and be excreted. Seriously, we rely entirely on the heavy lifting of mitochondria so we don't literally flush our vital nutrients away. But hey, it is definitely not just humans. Let's shift our focus over to the plant kingdom for a second and look at plant roots. Root hair cells actively transport essential minerals like magnesium from incredibly low concentrations in the soil, again, using energy from respiration. It's a very similar energetic feat to what's happening in our own intestines. Without this active, forceful pulling of scarce but critical minerals from the dirt, plants just wouldn't have the basic building blocks they need to function and survive. So we know what it is, and we know exactly why it's so absolutely crucial for life. But let's zoom all the way back down to the cell membrane level to uncover the actual mechanical how-to in Section 5, the protein carrier model, how it works. Let's move to and see how this builds step by step. Step 1. The target substance binds to specific carrier proteins that are physically embedded right there in the cell membrane. Step 2. That all-important energy from cellular respiration is utilized. Step 3. Thanks to that energy, the carrier undergoes physical changes. It actually changes shape. And finally, step 4, that structural change allows the molecule to safely pass all the way through the membrane and be perfectly released on the other side. It is just amazing how this breaks down an incredibly complex biological science into a brilliantly simple mechanical procedure. But celebrating this hard-won cellular battle leaving us with a pretty massive cliffhanger. With these nutrients successfully transported inside the cell against all odds, how do they then combine to form the complex biological molecules of life? It's a profound mystery, and it's exactly what you should be thinking about as we wrap up today's explainer. Stay curious, keep focused, and I absolutely cannot wait to explore that next biological step with you soon.